Think different, live different. V180.
V180. Mel with you today for another podcast right here on V180. Hello, and today we are joined by a very special guest. Now, these guys are quite unique. The band is called BLVRS. It's comprised of Nitro X and J Steph. Now, Nitro X, otherwise known as Owen, he lives in Canada, and J Steph, known as Jordan, he lives in America. And so these guys are on different time zones. They put all their music together online and then occasionally meet up, and they've got some new music on the way, a brand new worship pop EP and some originals as well. We are so excited to have you guys join us on the show. Firstly, how you doing?
Awesome. Doing so well.
Yeah, doing great. Super excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Now, one of you guys is in Canada, one of you guys is in the US. How is that going? I've seen a lot of film clips of you both in the same film clip together. So did one of you kind of fly there and just smash out a heap all at once, or do you kind of do it in bits and meet up in between? Or how do you actually make it work?
I'll let Jordan jump in on that one.
There's two ways. One, obviously Owen comes down and we do some content. We try to do batch content, get it all done as much as we can with what we have finished in that period of time. But when Owen is not down here, it's a lot of editing, a lot of communication, and a lot of week-long processes that probably could be a lot faster if we were in person. But, we work with what we got, and yeah, it's been great.
And well, you've done an amazing job because you guys have already pumped out so much new music. Can you tell us firstly as an overview, what have you been working on since the last time we chatted to you guys?
Yeah, I think we had chatted about the behind the scenes EP. And so since then, we have partnered with Anthem Company again to do another project of worship covers. So that was something new for us. Just kind of trying to expand our audience a little bit and just bring a new flavor to worship music, a new style that people haven't really heard before with a worship song. And so it was really fun to do that. Kind of like a remix, but also some of them just have a very original kind of feeling. And so I think that was super fun. And then since then, and amidst working on that project, we have been crafting our second EP, which is our first ever independent project we've ever done. So really excited to see how that lands with people this October.
So cool. And you titled your worship cover album Worship Pop. How did you come up with that? I love it.
I had been throwing around that phrase since we started. Hey, we're doing worship pop. We're doing worshipful music, music that is honoring to the Lord, talking about Him, His character, and also our relationship with Him. And then we're making it fun and not something that is I don't know, it's not traditional worship music. I know that worship has a lot more, it's been expanded more, but we're really pumping out more of the youth group fun. I guess I don't know. That's kind of what I think of when I think of BLVRS is worship pop. It's just that it gets you moving, but you're still praising the Lord. So.
Yeah, yes. And I love it, the songs that you've chosen. You've got 5 on there. Chris Tomlin, for Holy Forever, Praise, Elevation, Gratitude, Brandon Lake, one of my absolute favorites. I Still Believe, Jeremy Camp, and Counting My Blessings from Seth Schlitter. Wow, great choices, guys. How did you kind of narrow it down to only 5? That would be so hard.
Oh, that was such a fun process. I feel like there's a couple in there that were kind of specific to, I guess, either marketability or for I'll let Jordan touch on that after, but there's a cool story behind why we picked I Still Believe. But I think for the rest of them, we kind of were just throwing this idea around with Anthem, and then Jordan and I had called and we came up with this really big list that Jordan wrote out. And then Anthem had a couple suggestions. And so between everybody, we kind of had this huge list. And I was basically tasked with all right, what can you figure out?
Wow.
So I went through these songs and I was kind of listening, or I knew the songs. So I was just kind of trying to see, like, in my head, okay, where could we take one of these? Where could we take this one? Vibe-wise, I think that was kind of the center of each of those songs, was like, what's the vibe? What's the vision? And I would just rip the acapella off YouTube and throw that in. And then I would, like, remix the song. And then I would pitch that to Jordan and to Jason and Joey, the Anthem guys. And we would all talk about, okay, do we like this? Do we want to do something else? And so we have a few that are still in the folders just because they didn't fit perfectly on this project. But they're pretty cool. And so it was a lot of experimenting, a lot of just like chasing a sound and trying to figure out what we wanted it to be like. But I'll let Jordan touch on the I Still Believe thing, because I think that's a pretty cool story of Jeremy and everything that came together with that.
Yeah. So overall, kind of to echo Owen, it all started with Gratitude, and then we kind of were figuring out the rest of the songs. But the reason I fought for doing I Still Believe was I am pretty much, like, I travel and work with Jeremy. I'm part of his crew. So it's fun getting to be around all of that and see, you know, that side of touring and all of that. So anyways, I was just like, this would be fun. Like, I hear this song all the time. Every night there's a show, so might as well come. It's a good song. It's got good truths, and it's something that I think would fit well on this overall. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it ended up where, just very briefly going to share it, but we were at this festival and he came up, he's like, bro, that was so good. And I was like, yes. First of all, he listened to it. Second of all, it was just nice that he supported it and he loved it. So yeah, he commented on it and it was very supportive. And we were both like, let's go.
That's
but
awesome.
Jeremy's awesome. He's a great dude.
I saw that Seth Schleter commented on it as well. And I was like, yeah, good on you guys. It's so good.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
And you've also put out a few of your own original stuff as well, a heap of songs. Another Way. Can you tell us a little bit about how that one came together?
Yeah, I can touch on that briefly. That one was really fun because I think that is Rest was first. Jordan and I did Rest in person. That would have been the first song that we ever did together in person that we released.
Yeah, wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Another Way was also really fun because it was like this whole project is very from Nashville this summer. Like a lot of it was written in Nashville this summer and like recorded there. So I wrote it with Jacob Stanifer, is our good friend. And we put that together. I've always wanted to write with him. And so it was super fun. We did that. And then at the end of the week, we recorded it. And so, yeah, I'll let Jordan touch on some of the inspiration behind like the song. Cause Jordan had come in with like a concept and Jacob and I kind of flushed it out a little bit further. But.
So good.
Yeah, I came in with this. Well, first Owen sent me the song, and I just had a cool melody, and it was completely different. And so I was just trying to figure out, because it was such a floaty chorus. I didn't know what to put there, because it's like, there's gotta be, and I was like, okay, but originally it was like, and I had to figure out where. There's not much to say, like, so what am I intentionally going to say there? So I was kind of struggling with the chorus, but the verse melody, the second verse was actually my first verse. So I wrote that and had a really good idea with what I wanted it to talk about like not being able to do life on our own, and we need the Lord and what he provides as we go throughout our life, because he's essential to our daily walk. So then, yeah, Owen took those thoughts and ideas and the melodies I sent, and our friend Jacob, and he and Jacob wrote the rest of it. I touched up some of the lyrics afterwards, and then we came out with this great song with our friend Tegan, who was able to hop on the second verse, and it was a lot of fun. Very, very much one of my favorites off the project.
Wow. And we're loving it. And you mentioned the track Rest as well, Owen. That was my next question. I love that one too. Can you tell us how that one came together too?
Yeah, Jordan, I think you should jump in on that one, because I think it's a fun story of lyrically how it kind of impacted us. And
it's all fun stories with all these. We could give like a billion, but I wrote that one with a good friend of mine named Max, Max Allard, and he and I were just really figuring out what to write it for. And then I was like, would be a great Believer song, because we wrote the whole thing together. And then Owen, in the middle of producing it all, and the middle of him coming down to shoot the videos and work more on music and all of that. Even the whole process of just this year and this EP, both EPs, we have really needed to take our own advice of resting and finding rest in the Lord, because I'm very much a workaholic, as I know Owen most likely is.
I am.
Both are like, he'll text me, and it's like, we're in different time zones, but I'm like, dude, isn't it like 3 a.m. your time? Like, that's just how it's.
Yeah.
So I think that song is the one that's the most challenging for us to do, because we both put so much into what we do, and then also we just get exhausted, and then that leads to burnout. And so that song is quite literally about when you are at the end of your road, you can find rest in the Lord. That's something He provides as well. It's something that that we both are trying to do a better job at. So that is kind of the fun story. But yeah, we were trying to take our own advice.
Well, it's nice to have that. Every time it's like 4 a.m, you can just slowly play that song in the background. Like, hint, hint.
Exactly.
And A Different Kind of Love is another one that we're loving at the moment. Can you tell us what's the cool story behind that one?
Yeah, that one's also another Nashville kind of project. Again, like usually our workflow kind of is I send Jordan a beat, and he comes up with like some sort of melody idea without lyrics, and then I'll pivot the beat around that, and then we write the song. This one, very similar. I had this kind of beat idea. I had played on like this Rhodes Pass, and it's like, oh, this is so sweet, and all I had was just the dun 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 dun, and the whole song was the exact same thing, like the exact same chords, and I couldn't figure out where to take it. Like, we had so much trouble in that song, like getting it from like to the chorus, like to work, and so I just remember it. What line was it, bro? It was at the end of the chorus, that one line when we were working. You remember that one night?
Oh.
No, that was a different song. That was another one.
Different song. But
They all
different
melt
song.
together.
But we had that process of trying to write this thing and figure out where to take it. And I do remember we were working on it, and it was like, you kept being like, I can't get a chorus over this. It's the same melody.
I was so frustrated on writing the verse, because I kept on coming up with a billion different melodies that just weren't it. Like, I don't know if you feel this way, but whenever there's like writing a song, or you hear a song, you're like, I just wish there was this different.
Yes.
I will hear that initially, which I love that I hear that in my melodies. The problem is I can be a perfectionist, and sometimes the melodies are good, but I'm always pushing for like, this could be better. And so Owen and I, just trying to find what could make it better, was switching the chords around and not keeping it on the same ones and building those up for the chorus. We decided to keep them the same with the chorus, but then to go with something completely different for the verses, which ultimately helped. The writing finally got there. We got the melody down. But overall, I think the chorus is my favorite part of the song. Even though I really love anything like singing, like fast singing in verses. That's like my thing. I love it.
What's fun to touch on with that too? I think that we should bring up, because this was really funny when we made the song in Nashville. Did you record that? I don't remember when you recorded it, but the different kind of love.
Owen trashed on me for that.
So
he was like, that's not going to work at all.
That's terrible.
That sounds so stupid. Like, he did it with the post chorus was way longer, and he did it for so long. And then I get home, like, it's still in my head. It's different. I'm like, that is actually kind of catchy. And then I was like, oh, what if it was like a kid going like, kind of love at the end? And then it came together. I'm like, there you go, man.
Yeah.
We got it in there, and it worked.
You must get that a lot where do you often have times where one of you is like, yes, I love it, and the other one's like, nah, that's rubbish. Like, how do you resolve that when you do get stuck on creative differences? And yeah, I guess does it happen a lot?
I wouldn't say it actually happens that much between us, which is good.
This is good.
Like, we usually are able to land on something
Mm-hmm.
equally. I think that in the crazy release schedule, like, that we planned out was like, it was hard because I think we wanted to resolve like things that would have been easier to take more time, but it was just kind of like, oh, we have to kind of make a choice. Yeah. And I think that it's just the reality of today's day and age of being an artist that you can't, like, unless you're like Justin Bieber, you can disappear for like 3-4 years, come back with an album, and like but like as a growing artist, it's not something you can really do. And so I think that is the only challenge, is actually when we lose that time to be able to like bounce back and forth. Because when we do bounce everything back and forth, we always end up with a better product that we both like. And so I think that process usually is just like, I don't know, like, I think we could get something better. Like, Jordan always will push me to get a better thing in the production, and I'll have trouble hearing it, but I'll eventually get, and I hear it after. I'm like, I'm really glad we added that. Like, there's these shots and Keep Me Believing in the second chorus before it goes into the post. And Jordan was like, I hear something here. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what you're hearing, but eventually I got it. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And it makes the song for me now. And so I think that's kind of the process I would say that we normally go through. There's a lot of bouncing back and forth, and then eventually landing on something that we both like. But
and I'm trying to get better at explaining that instead of being like, can you do like that?
That would be so hard when you're not in the room.
The reverb, I'm trying to learn all the good words. So how could I explain that better next time?
Do you feel the pressure, as you were saying, like emerging artists, you always feel like you constantly got to be pumping out new stuff? Like, do you feel that pressure? Oh, we haven't got a song, we better just like put something together to get it out? Like that
I feel like more, I totally think that you need to be consistent if you want to make it and you're new, for sure. I think the problem that we've run into, which is kind of with the rest and all that we were mentioning earlier, is some of our plans will change or things will take longer than we anticipate. And so we just need to be better on some of our planning sides, so that way we can effectively, like, instead of it being, hey, let's do an EP and drop it here, and then we set like deadlines, but then we forget life happens, and we're like pushing up to that deadline, and then we're stressed out of our minds. Now, if we like finish the whole EP first and then say like, let's start scheduling them out now, that's kind of the approach we're going to take in the future. So we'll be doing a lot of content for this EP, and we have content from the Worship Hop one, and obviously still have some from our initial first EP. We'll keep pushing that and trying to find new ways to market it as we work on new stuff. So that way, when we come back with more, it will be very planned out. We can have all the songs finished when Owen comes down to the content. And we can just like breathe a little more. There's effective ways to plan better. And we're just working on that. I mean, being in different countries is not easy, but I think we've done good for what we've had, but we're still learning to do better.
I mean, I think you can always do better, and you guys do have a quite unique situation, and it would take a lot of practice to figure out what the best flow is and what works for you and your family and your life as well. That's you're doing an amazing job, guys. You really are. That's so cool. So what's next? Have you got a heap of tracks lined up that we don't know about yet? Do you have any plans for the rest of the year, or are you just going to kind of just market this one and chill and start again next year? What's your plans?
Yeah, I think that this is kind of the wrap up for this year. I think, like Jordan said, we're trying to heed our own advice with rest and trying to walk into next year, trying to find as much inspiration as we can to make the best project possible.
Awesome.
And so whatever that might look like, we have a few plans, a few ideas that hopefully could involve Jordan coming up to Canada and work on music. That could be fun. So we have a few of those kind of ideas that we're throwing around. But overall, I'd say right now, like, we're entering that season of the vision stage. I feel like for us, it's always the winters, like, oh, what's the plans? What's the vision? But allowing a little bit of openness to work on our own projects and find some inspiration for new tracks as well. So, yeah, I think you can expect stuff in the future. But, yeah, rock out on this EP for this year, because this is the final big shebang before we're done, before Christmas.
So good, guys. And if people want to follow you and they're listening right now, what's the best way to keep in touch with Believers?
Honestly, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much any platform. All you gotta do is search "We Are Believers," or obviously listening to Spotify, Apple, all of that, or on Vision 180. If you hear us on there, BLVRS. That's how you spell it. Super easy, no vowels.
Guys, thank you so much for your time. It's so great to have you on V180 again.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.